Just trying to make sure everything looks good, guys. Got my notes ready. Just gonna wait for a couple of seconds to make sure everybody's here. Alright. There we go. Alright. What's up, everybody? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Hope you all had a nice weekend and you're having a good week. I know I am. I'm doing alright. Just been working, and finally I get to do one of these reviews about TV shows and movies. I've actually seen a couple of movies in the past. I already talked about It too, and I just saw recently Downton Abbey, and it was really good. But we're not here to talk about that. As it says in the title, we're here to talk about American Horror Story, the new season that just came out. That premiered last week on Wednesday, and I didn't watch it, but today, well, last night was the second episode for the new season, and I thought it was perfect because they usually show a rerun of the first episode, so I watched that one first and then the second episode. So I think it was good that I did that because I felt like watching the first one there wouldn't be that much to talk about. I already had some like negative and positive reviews about it. So this is one of my opinions about it. Let me see right here. I think it should have been. I think it should have been like 2 season premiere because I thought the first episode wasn't as strong as compared to the other first episodes for other American Horror Stories other seasons. So this one I felt the first episode wasn't that strong, but when I saw the second one, I thought, okay, now it's catching my attention now. So that's why I felt like it should have been a 2 episode premiere. That would have been way better. That's just my opinion. And so these are my notes that I wrote down. I have them all right here. And these were my thoughts that I had about episode 1. So I have both negative and positive stuff to say about it. So let's see. Let's start with the negative because it's like, oh god. All right, so the negative stuff. I felt like, yeah, I wrote down similar to other horror classic films, like also a cliche next to it, to the note. Meaning, like, for example, first example, I'm sure a lot of you noticed the reference of we got a lot of Friday the 13th vibes. The way it starts, it starts at it takes place at a camp, and then there's a killer on the loose, and they're looking for counselors to take care of these young kids that are gonna come the next day, and so on. So it's just like I got a lot of Friday the 13th vibes from that, and another horror film that happened that reminded me was I Know What You Did Last Summer. And that part came out when they were on their way to the camp, the main characters, and they hit that man that got in front of the road, and he got hurt, badly hurt. They got off and they went to go check to see if he was okay and everything. Immediately that part right there just gave me, it reminded me of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I thought, especially when the girl Emma Roberts when she was playing the innocent girl, um, she was saying like we need to get help and everything, and then the driver was all like, no, we'll just put him in the vehicle and we pretend like none of this ever happened. We pretend like we didn't hit him or anything. We're just gonna take him, and we all keep quiet about it. And he was being like an asshole a little bit, especially to her. So I was like, that's so I Know What You Did Last Summer. And then another reference was a Halloween movie. The part where you see, I guess, a psychiatrist or something, or a doctor that was on her way back to the insane asylum, and she saw all the patients that broke loose from the asylum. They were out and about, and then they told her that, oh, your patient, what's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. What was the name of the killer? Some of you, if you've seen an episode, remind me. I already forgot. Mr. It's with the keys. Wrinkles? No, Kinkles? Something like that? No, not Kinkles. It was something. Some Spirit Lily, wow, scary. So many references. Yes. Hi, Spirit Lily, welcome. We're here talking about American Horror Story. We're talking about the negatives and the positives. Right now, I'm going through the negative stuff. So yeah, there were a lot of references to other horror films that I thought, okay, it's kind of cliche. If this is what's happening, if you're referencing to these horror classic films, then it's a cliche. Then we pretty much know where it's gonna go. You know, with the story, we pretty much know how this is gonna turn out. A typical killer. These dumb teenagers are gonna go have fun, and and it just ends up bad. You know, a bunch of stuff. They're gonna do drugs. They're gonna do stupid shit, stuff like that. So whatever. But I will get back to this in a couple of seconds. Hold on one second. Hey! Sorry, my cat's going crazy. He just loves to interrupt me when I'm talking, when I'm going live. Hey! Get back! Anyways, sorry about that, guys. But we're gonna get back to that, like I said. Mr. Kinky. That was the name of the killer. One second. One second, guys. Hey! He is trying to pull on the cords, this cat. It's terrible, guys. And he's still a kid, so he loves to play. So, anyways, sorry about that. Um, what else were the negative thoughts? On my notes, I wrote down, ending wasn't strong. It felt like I did not want to see what's going to happen next. Yeah, I felt like the ending for the first episode, for the premiere of the first episode, I thought the ending wasn't as strong. The ending gave me like, it didn't give me those feels that I used to have on the other American Horror Stories where it leaves you like, oh my god, I want to know what happens next. This one, not so much. I was just like, okay, the guy pops out. It's the guy that Emma Roberts' character was trying to run away from because he attacked her from her home, tried to kill her, and then her friends were like, "Well, come with us. That way, you know, he won't follow us. You're at least you're alive and everything. Get your mind off of things. Let's go to the camp together. Let's be counselors so you can get your mind off it. He won't follow us all the way over there." Turns out at the end, he ends up following them, and I don't know how, but yeah. Anyways, that ending just gave me like, okay, nothing. It wasn't like compared to American Horror Story, the first season, the ending for the first episode left me like, oh my god, I want to watch more. I want to find out what's going to happen next. The same thing with American Horror Story 2 and 3. Those, I felt like the first 3 seasons, I think also American Horror Story 4 and Roanoke. I felt like the first episode for those seasons were so strong enough that they gave me that feel like I want to know what's going to happen next, that I couldn't wait for the next episode to start. And watching, new episodes every Wednesday reminded me like how much I don't like that, but at the same time it's good because why I don't like it is because I have to wait. And then sometimes when I'm watching, since the episode wasn't that strong, I felt like the second episode was just not gonna help me pick up what I saw last time in the first episode. It was just gonna be like, okay, what's gonna happen now this time? Like not compared to the other seasons. And I guess it's because I bought them on DVD or they already premiered in the past and I was just watching like the reruns or something, and each episode was happening the next hour. You know what I mean? I didn't have to wait. I was just so into it that it just kept playing every new episode, and it still caught my attention. Ah, yes, a kitty. I know, Nikki. I know. That cat is terrible. And yeah, this one not so much. But like I said, I felt it was a good thing that I saw the first episode first, and then the premiere of the second episode the same day, because like I said, I felt like it should have been a 2 episode premiere. Because then after watching the second one, I was like, all right, now it's caught my attention a little bit more, so that's good. It should have been like that, in my opinion. Um, but for some of you, if you thought the first episode was strong, then great, you caught some. It caught your attention more than it did with me, so that's good. All right, so now let's get to the positive reviews. I did like the intro for this new season. I liked that how it had that 80s kind of theme vibe stuff going on. It was a very nice intro. I will give it that, and the music as well. Very nice job, well done for that. Oh yeah, and I thought this was okay. That guy that they hit with the vehicle, in that moment that reminded me of I Know What You Did Last Summer. He kind of looked like a young Kevin Bacon. I was like, is that Kevin Bacon? I thought it was at him at first, but they just I don't know. But I was like, no, it's another actor, but he kind of looks like a young Kevin Bacon for to me, I guess. But after seeing him again and a couple of more times, and then in episode 2, I was like, not so much. But oh well. But I think he is one of the positive things. I think his character is very interesting because we'll get to episode 2 in a bit. Um, okay, so these are the positive things that I was talking about when I was talking about the negative stuff. How there was some similar stuff that reminded me of like old classic horror films like Friday the 13th and I Know What You Did Last Summer. In a way, this season kind of like gave me like it kind of made me smile because I think it was a good thing that it kind of referenced some of the good classic horror films because it makes you think about those horror films. So I was like, I guess that's okay in a bit, but at the same time bad because we're already familiar with this cliche, like what's gonna happen. So that's the bad part, but it also has some good parts about it. So I guess it's a 50-50, I guess. So that was one of the positive stuff. Number 4, the soundtrack for this new season. I thought the soundtrack is really good. I've been a fan of like 80s soundtrack, and I love how the soundtrack sounds in this season. Uh, I will hopefully this season gets better. I know I hope so too. But wait, I'm gonna get to episode 2 because I felt like okay, episode 2 made up for episode 1. So and then the last positive thing about it, the first episode was the good flashback story, the 80s style. When what's her name, Margaret? I think that was the lady who brought back the camp, the one that started talking about her story of like how she survived the massacre that happened there a long time ago. I love the way they did the flashback. That was all like classic 90s type of style. I like the way that looked. I really enjoyed watching that. And especially like when she had the blood in her eye when she was talking about how she got stabbed and everything and how she opened her eyes. And I loved how she expressed her when she was expressing the moment when she's like, I thought I was dead, but when I opened my eyes, I thought I saw the light of God or something. Like he was, welcoming me, like the warm light that I received, and I thought it was God calling to me. And when she opened her eyes, I was like, oh my God, all that blood that's going in her eyes, like how does she do it? And then there was that moment where she kept her eyes open for a long ass time. I was like, all right, girl, how do you do it? I don't know how she did it, but kudos to her. I thought that was pretty impressive. So yeah, that was the last good positive thing about the first episode. I wrote this one as a note. Funny part, and the funny part was when Emma Roberts' character was running from the killer, and she was like going through all the typical things that every girl is running. Whenever they're running away from the killer, they go through all this stuff like they trip or they just turn around and run slow or they fall into the puddle. She was going through all that. I started laughing because she was like hitting branches and shit, and then she started tripping, falling, and rolling on the mud. And then when she kept getting closer to the camp, she, I saw the puddle of mud, and I thought she's gonna fall in there. And what do you know? She does, and she's all covered in mud, and she's like, oh, looking back and everything, trying to get to the camp. And then finally she gets there, and when she gets there, she's like covered in leaves and mud. Just thinking about it again just makes me laugh because she knows she was all clean when she went out there, and when she saw the killer and starts running away from it, all the all the mess that she went through, I was like, I think that was funny. Like it kind of gave me like a scary movie type of vibe because she just went through everything. I thought that was hilarious. Oh, oh yay! That ending for season 1 sounded like Jason just shifting on them. No, yeah, there's 2 killers actually, Nikki. One second. One second. I had to scare my cat away because I heard him pulling on the cords. Oh my god, that cat. He's gonna get a punishment in a bit. He's gonna go to his room. He should be asleep, but there he is playing around. He's funny. He's adorable, though. If you guys want to see him, let me try to get him. Hold on one second. Alright, right now we're going to talk about Now Episode 2. Which I thought saved this season a little bit, but I think it's too soon to say like this season has been saved. But I thought they did good on the second episode because I started getting more into it. And right now we'll talk about it. One second. Kitty, 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 kitty. Come on. Kitty, 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 kitty. Come on. Kitty, 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 kitty. Come on. Come on, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on. Alright. This will get his attention. Come on, kitty. Come on. Gotcha. Alright, if you want attention, why don't you come sit next to me? Because you're just awful today. Hi, guys. Hi. Look. Look. Alright. Oh, sorry, episode 1. No, yeah. Oh my god, I thought he was smaller. No, he was small. Now he got big. Alright. Sit right here, please, for now. Alright, so now let's talk about episode 2. Where are you? Here are my notes for episode 2. Alright, episode 2 makes me want to talk about the cast. I think having Emma Roberts as the leading role for this new season, look, I think she did good playing a bitch in American Horror Story Coven. And then she also plays another bitch in that spin-off Scream Queens. I think she's good at playing as a bitch. This, as an innocent person, she's alright, but at the same time, I put right here as one of the negative stuff about episode 2. It made me see how Emma Roberts' acting is. I'm sorry to say. I think she's very pretty and all that, and I don't know. I've seen her acting in this season, in all these American Horror seasons, but this one, this episode 2, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I don't think she did a good job. And you know why? Here's my reason. Behave. Oh my god. Get out of here. How dare you. Alright. Sorry guys. Kitty had to go to timeout. Because he just bit my dog. I saw him, went up to him, and then like Shorty's like, trying to go to sleep here, my little dog. Poor thing, he's trying to fall asleep. Kitty is such a bully to him. Anyways, back to the thing. So unprofessional. What am I doing? He is big. He's a cutie. Yeah. He's a cutie, but he could be a demon at times, this cat. Alright. So yeah, back to what I was saying. My reason why I thought Emma Roberts is not that good of an actress, I'm sorry to say, is because I think she can be. I don't think she's just being pushed to that level to where I feel like she can be a good actress, but I don't think that she's giving enough instructions of like how you're supposed to act or something, or because when they were giving the flashback about her story of like when she was gonna get married a long time ago, and then her husband shot the groom. Oh, wait, no. What's his name? What do you call it when you're gonna get married and your husband chooses his what is it called? The man, the great man or something, or what is it called when he chooses? I forgot. Somebody help me out here. Hey, bro, are you gonna watch Finding Bigfoot? No. Uh, poor Shorty. Yeah, poor Shorty. He gets bullied. What? Emma Queen, bruh? Has she been in the other shows or other movies? She has. That's why I'm saying like she can play a bitch in American Horror Story season 3 and also when she played a bitch in Scream Queens. She plays a funny bitchy character, but I don't know. They need to push her. Okay, because in that part when they were showing the flashback when she was getting married, uh when her husband started accusing her like, did you sleep with my friend, what do you call that guy, there's the bride to be, the groom, and then what do you call the people that they choose to stand right next to you, the best man. When he was accusing her like, did you sleep with my friend the best man, and she's like, no, we did nothing, I swear, like he just, because he said, because I saw him go into your house and he didn't leave until the next morning. And she's like, he just slept on the couch. We didn't do anything, which I'm kind of suspicious. I think they did do something, but she's kind of hiding it and she's ashamed of it. So I don't know. But we'll have to find out later on because I don't know. Yeah, she could be an innocent character. It seems like she's the innocent character, in other typical horror films like these. But I felt like there's more to it. I think she's lying. I think she's trying to hide that. But anyways, that part when she was trying to convince her husband, like, no, we didn't do anything, and then her husband shoots him, and then shoots her father. Or unless yeah, it was her father, right? That got up and shoots her father. She's like, I don't know. She should have. I think she should have been more dramatic, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I know there's some people out there that love Emma Roberts, but I think it should have been more dramatic because think about it. If I was in her shoes, if I was her character, and my husband starts accusing me if I'm innocent, he starts accusing me of like cheating on him the night before our wedding, and he all of a sudden shoots his best man, and then he suddenly shoots my father. I would have been like shocked, traumatized. I would have been crying. I would have been like devastated, screaming my lungs out. And then he takes his own life. He like then points a gun at him and then takes his own life. I would have been more. I think they should have pushed her. If I was a director, I'd be like, no, no, think about it. You're in this moment. Your husband is killing his best man, who probably is your best friend too, and all of a sudden he shot your father, and then he's gonna shoot himself right in front of you and then splatter all this blood on you. You're gonna like, I need you to like freak the fuck out, because this is a traumatic experience for you. But no, the way she did it, she was just like, I don't know. You have to watch it. In my opinion, I don't think she did a good job in that part. But that's just my opinion. I think they should have pushed her. So that was like the bad part of that. Um, because she ain't no Jessica Lange, and she's no Sarah Paulson. Jessica Lange and Sarah Paulson always stole the show. Their performances were just the top of the wall. That's why they're out there doing movies. I think that's why they probably left the show because they worked their way to top A actresses. The same with Angela Bassett. Like if you compare them to the other actresses that appeared in all the American Horror Story shows, there have been some better acting. I think like she should have pushed it, but that's just my opinion. Has she best man? Yeah, thank you, Nikki. I'm so sorry. I just remembered it. Yeah, thank you. Good point. I think all 80s movies have bad acting. Maybe that's why they were going for. You're right. You have a point there. I mean, they do sometimes have bad, but no. This is the thing. The casts, the other actors and actresses that came out that comes out in this season, I think they did better. What's his face? Cody, I think. I just know his first name. He played the Antichrist, the Devil's Son in American Horror Story Apocalypse, the season before this one, and I think he did outstanding in Apocalypse. This one, he's doing another good job too. Let's see, and I think that's it. But then after her story, little by little, like I guess I'm getting used to seeing how her character is, but I really hope she pushes it later on because I felt like she's the main character in this season. So if she's gonna be the main character, she's gonna have to like step it up to like a higher level. But we'll see. That I need to give her more of a chance. I know, but we'll see how she does later on. Let's see. That's positive. That's positive. Okay, I only had that was like my only one negative review about episode 2. Now we're gonna get to the positive reviews, which is more than the negative. I just had one, and I have 5 of them. All right, so here's the first one for the positive. I think is kind of funny. Back then in the old classic horror films, we focused a lot on the women. When they were like taking off their clothes, when they would be naked. It was always the women, never the boys. But in this one, in this season, we focus more on the male bodies than the female bodies. And examples is that in episode 2, we saw the boys who are going to take a shower. The scene was really focusing on their bodies. So I'm just like, you know what? At first I was like, typical, because of other reasons. Because I know the director, I know he's gay, and I've noticed that ever since season 4, he started focusing more on the male body. So I'm just like, okay, all right. But at the same time, I'm just like, all right, it's enough. You don't have to put too much sex into this season. I mean, you could have a good story without having too much sex. That's just my opinion. Um, but this one, it didn't have that much sex, so that's good. I like that. So far, so good, right? But yeah, I noticed that he tends to focus. He was focusing on the male body part. So I'm just like, you know what? Why not? Because this is like a big turnaround. Because back then, like I said, they would focus a lot on the female bodies. Every time they take off their clothes, it'd always be, naked, showing their boobs and their asses. This time, we see male ass and male nipples. you know. So I thought, like, you know what? Why not? Turn the tables around, make it fun for the women now. For the guys out there who are gonna watch this episode, I mean, you won't like that part, but you know what? Don't worry about it, because I felt like it does get better, the story in episode 2. So I thought that was like a cool thing, an interesting thing. Ooh, naked man. I know. So yeah, I thought that was all right. Now, positive thing. That guy, that young Kevin Bacon. I need to find out what the name. What was the name of his character? Well, I forgot his name, but I thought it was so interesting that he cannot die. Cause yeah, when he showed up again, I thought it's like, yeah, when Emma Roberts was alone in the restroom, and she turns around and sees his dead body like pinned to the door. I was like, oh, that sucks. He's dead. He didn't have that much showtime. I mean, screen time. And then all of a sudden, when he shows up again, no cuts, no anything. I was all like, huh? And then they kill him off. They sliced his stomach. His intestines came out, and they slit his throat by what's his name? The Night Stalker or something. I was like, well, that sucks. He's dead again. But then he comes back. I was like, because he comes back and he's all like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. And the killer who killed him was like, what the hell are you doing? I thought I killed you. And then he kills him again, and then he's all like, what the hell? Like, what the hell's going on? And then he goes off to talk to Margaret. It's like, I need you to tell me, who is this guy? Because he stole his ID. And he's like, who is this guy? And then we'll get to that later. So I thought, oh, okay, so that's interesting. Like, this guy can't die. And so who the hell is he? Turns out he's one of the victims who died in the massacre that happened there at that camp. Because the Margaret, when she was telling her story, only one survived. And I thought it was talking about her, because she said that she survived, and then the killer took off this part of her ear. I guess he's an ear collector or something. But then I thought it was so interesting, because when she confronted him, she's like, you're still alive, and you shouldn't be here. He's like, well, what are you doing here? You should not be here either. She's like, it's been 14 years, since that happened. Why aren't you dead? So I was all like, pretty interesting. All right, we're going back to a little bit of like season 1 stuff, when some characters can die. You know how like it's so much murder has happened in one spot, they end up being ghosts. So are we gonna get a little vibe of like American Horror Story season 1? Where a lot of victims died in one area, they're all of a sudden they just don't pass on. Their spirits still stay stuck in that land. Spirit Lily. I wish I could see that the killer's reaction. Yeah, the killer was all like, "The hell are you doing?" And then he kills him again. He's all just like, "I killed you." Like, and then when he looks at his, he looks for his driver's license or whatever. He's like, "Look at this," and he looks at his ID. And he's all like, "The fuck?" And then he goes talks to the lady in charge of the camp. He confronts her, and she's like, "What do you want?" And he's all like, "I want you to tell me who this guy is." And then later on we'll get to that. So I was just like, oh my god, that's interesting. So I thought that was a cool thing. I was like, all right, this character's all of a sudden interesting to me. You know, I like to know why is he still alive, and he has no memory. But then when he saw Margaret, he started remembering like, I remember you. You were part of the massacre. I saw you, but then I ran away. I was a coward. I should have helped you, you know? But she didn't say anything, Margaret. She was just like trying to figure out like why is he still alive? I'm kind of suspicious about Margaret, even though she's very religious and she's a survivor of the massacre. You know, I still feel kind of suspicious about her. She's not all the I don't know, just something about her character makes me feel suspicious, and we'll get to that in a bit. Oh, actually, we're already gonna get there. Number four, to the positive things. Actually, number three, the relationship between Night Stalker and Margaret. Now, I did mention there are two killers. One, his name was Mr. What do they call him? Let's call him Mr. Keychain because Mr. Keys because they tell as the story goes, you can tell when he's coming because you hear the sound of his keys rustling. I forgot his name, but yeah. Another thing about that killer, the way he's dressed reminds me of the killer from I Know What You Did Last Summer. He's wearing the coat and the raincoat and everything. He's all dressed in black. He just doesn't have the hook. He has a knife instead. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. Michael Myers combination with that killer. So yeah, whatever. So yeah, there's two killers. The key man, the wrestling key man, and then the Night Stalker, who's been known to kill a lot of victims in California or Hollywood. So now he's at the camp searching for Emma Roberts. But right now, he confronts Margaret, asking her questions about that man who just won't die. Oh my god, what if the entity reloading them back into the... Oh, shut up. No, no Dead by Daylight involved in this, Nikki. How dare you? Let me see. So yeah, let's talk about that part. I liked that relationship they were having because Margaret is a very religious woman. She's a Christian, I think, right? And when she confronts him, she's like, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm doing the Lord's work." And she's like, "Are you also a Christian?" And she's like, "No, the other Lord." She's like, "You follow Satan, you know?" And she's like, but she doesn't like freak out about it. Not like how you would think other Christians would react to him. No, instead like she sits them down, and they both start talking. And he starts talking about his past, his history of like why he is who he is now, a killer, because I think he mentions that when his mother was pregnant, um, what was it? She was around this area where she was breathing in all this stuff that it affected him too. That when he was born, he had trouble breathing. And then as he was growing up, when he was little, his father was very abusive to him. He got knocked out in the back of his head by the swing, and that made him cause him to have seizures. As he would grow up, he would see his parents fighting outside while he was like having a seizure on the floor inside of the house. He was like foam was coming out. And I think he mentions that his cousin or his uncle starts talking to him about, you know what would make you feel better? If you kill people, you want to feel free from this world, feel free to do anything by killing people. And he would give examples. He would show photos of like the victims he's killed, like, you know, look at that, to a young child. And then his wife, his cousin's wife, would be like, don't show him those pictures. And what does he do? He ends up shooting her right in front of the child. So he had a pretty messed up life. And there she was like listening to him, and she's just like, you know why all that stuff happened to you? It made you who you are now, and you're destined to come across me, someone who would sit down and listen to you. And funny how he's all looking at her like he likes that he's listening to her. He's like, you're the only one who's ever sat down with me and who's actually understood me and actually listens to me. And she's like, yes. But I felt like at the same time, you kind of see like she was manipulating him because she's like, who says that you can do the devil's bidding when you could also do the Lord's bidding? You know, sometimes, you know, the things that you do could be good things. And he's like, what do you mean? And then she's like, there's a killer here on camp that I need to like kill because he's after me. He wants to get revenge on me since I survived, you know, the massacre. I'm the only survivor, and he wants to come back and kill me and finish the job. What you can do for the Lord, and it's a good thing. You know, you could continue killing people, but by doing good things, you know. And one of them is if you can take care of the killer who's killing all these counselors, if you can kill him for me, you know, that would be a good thing. You know, you won't have to stop killing. Just go out there and kill him. I just need you to stop killing other counselors because we've already had some other losses here. So go kill him for me. Because she said, Margaret, like, oh, I'm going to make sure I find him. If he's here in camp, I'm going to go out there and make sure I kill him instead. But now she's like, maybe I could use him instead to do my dirty work. So I was just like, Margaret, you sneaky sneak. I was like, you know, that's why I'm kind of suspicious about her. Like, she's not a good Christian. You know, I don't know. There's just something about her that I don't like. What the fuck? Crazy uncle? Yeah. I think it was his cousin. I'm not sure if it was his cousin or his uncle, but yeah, it was very messed up. So the uncle was a killer too? I guess so, because I think he said he was in war or something. I'm sorry, I don't remember that much. But he used to be at war or something, and then he showed him the photos like, you know, I killed these people. I felt free. I felt good about myself. It was like freedom. I did whatever the hell I want. Basically giving him the influence like do the same thing. You know, why not? But his wife didn't like that, and she ended up getting killed. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. So yeah, I thought that you see that's why I like about episode 2 because I thought the backstories to these characters were like very interesting to me, and I don't know, Margaret's character was now interesting to me, and so were the other characters. Cody, what's his name? Cody something. The one that played the Antichrist in American Horror Story Apocalypse. His character is also interesting. The others, they still need to work. Oh, Nikki! Oh my God, it must be. No, actually, they were Hispanic. They were Hispanic. So it was a Hispanic family, Pobrecito. I love his voice. I was kind of like, oh, fuck that Night Stalker. But then getting to know his character and seeing more of him, like he's all badass when he confronts Margaret. He's all like with the lighter and shit. He's all like, and his deep voice. I was like, he sounds like a badass, like an anime character, you know. And then his hair and everything, he looks all badass. I was all like, I like him now. He's kind of cool. I want to learn more about him. And I felt like, pobrecito, poor guy. He's misunderstood. You know, he's had a fucked up childhood. He is what he is now. I mean, which is still bad. But maybe he still has some good in him. Maybe because Margaret was kind of getting to him, and he did like how Margaret was paying attention to him. And I thought they were gonna have something going on, but Margaret was like all like, no, no cool about it, because he is pretty attractive. I will say that, and Margaret too. I thought something was gonna go on there, but it didn't. She's gonna use him now. That's where it's going with that. She's gonna use him to kill the killer that's going on in the camp. This is one of American Horror Stories I'm willing to watch. Really? Yeah, it's pretty good. So far, it's good. The first 2 episodes. And that's why I say it should have been a 2 episode premiere, because I think that's what have got more people's attentions. Because the first episode, I felt like if you're a newcomer and you're barely watching this episode, I don't think it would have been that strong to keep people wanting to see more. But this second episode makes me want to watch what's going to happen next in episode 3, which I hope it stays good. So far, it's been 2 episodes, so I hope uh, Ryan Murphy and the others who are the creators of this season continue to do a good job. I hope it has a very good story. I hope Emma Roberts pushes herself to the limit, kind of like the way Lady Gaga did. I didn't like her that much in the beginning of season 5 in Hotel. I felt like I don't think she was a good actress in the beginning of those episodes, but then towards the end, I liked her because I felt like she was now getting into her character, and I'm starting to see her get out of her comfort zone where she acts kind of like Lady Gaga-ish. She was now acting like a different person, which I was like, okay, I appreciate that. Now she's pushing herself as an actress to, do something different, I felt like that's the challenges they need to do with these actors. And that's why I appreciate American Horror Story so much, because in every season, every actor and actress plays a different role, and it's very interesting to see them play these different roles. So, very good job. Damn, two killers versus each. Exactly, two killers versus each other with stupid counselors in the mix. Yeah. Um, it's gonna be very interesting. That's why I was all like, "Ooh, two killers facing each other. All right, let's see how they do." Um, let's talk about that killer, the keychain or the wrestling key dude. I felt like he's kind of interesting so far. It's funny because episode two was the title of episode two was his name. What was his name? Let me see if I could look it up really quick. I need two hands. Let's look it up really quick so I could know once and for all, because it's killing me not knowing his name. 1984. Let's take a look. Episodes. Episode 2. What is the name of episode 2? It is called... Don't Die Here. No. No. What is the name of episode 2? Mr. Jingles. Really? Mr. Jingles. Yeah, because his keychain jingles, I guess, yeah. Yeah, because when you hear him coming, you hear the rustling sound of his keys. He carries keys with him, so he'll be able to unlock doors and shit like that. So, whatever. So, Mr. Jingles, and it's funny because back to that episode 2 was had his name on it. That was the title, but I felt like they didn't talk that much about him. They actually talked about the Night Stalker. I felt like that should have been the name of the episode because we mostly got a background story about him, not so much about Mr. Jingles. I felt like they already talked about Mr. Jingles in the first episode. But yeah. So yeah, first two episodes, all right. First episode, but it's good so far. So I'm looking forward to episode 3. I really do hope that they do a good job, and that the story keeps getting better. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's all I have. Oh, yeah, I already talked about it. Should have been a 2-episode premiere. Yeah, we already talked about it. All right, guys. That's all I have to say for American Horror Story, the first 2 episodes. It's good, but let's hope that it continues to get better and it continues to stay good, because so far the story has been interesting. But yeah. But yeah, that's all. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, I need to review for episode 3. I will. Well, this is what I'm gonna do, guys. Since I waited, the way I did it was I just waited for season 2 to premiere, and then they show a rerun of episode 1. I'm probably gonna not see episode 3. I probably will, but I probably won't do a review until after episode 4. So that way I can give a review of both episode 3 and 4 to see like if it got better, if it still stays better, or if it starts to go downhill. Because for those of us who are familiar with American Horror Story, the season, some seasons, they tend to start strong, but then it starts to go downhill. So let's hope that for the best. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to be right back because after this, I'm going to be talking about Child's Play, the remake, and comparing it to the original. Yes, so stay tuned. I will be right back. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video talking about Child's Play. And feel free to share your thoughts about what you thought about American Horror Story 1984. Do you think it should have been also a 2-episode premiere, or you think it did well with the first episode that you wanted to see the second one? What do you think about the characters? What do you think about Emma Roberts? Do you think she did good? Do you think she's gonna get better? Or, what's the story? Like, what are your thoughts about it? And what do you think about the two killers? Are you also suspicious about what's her name? Margaret. Oh my god, I already forget. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. So yeah, what are your thoughts about it? All right, we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. Bye bye.